Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today, and my dupatta is falling off my head, and so we're going to continue though. It is possibly the last fast of the month of Ramadan, and I hope you guys are doing very well. I hope you guys are excited about Eid that's coming up, and I hope you guys have got everything ready. But before that, obviously we have to observe the whole meaning and the message of Ramadan, and for that, this whole month, as we have done, we have had the first segment, which has been on the teachings of the Quran, just to show the relevance and the relevance in the 21st century. How does religion, philosophy and science all walk hand in hand? How we cannot look at the world with just one eye and with blinkers on, that we need to open up our minds and open up our hearts, and to discuss one of possibly the final Surah. We're going to be discussing Surah Hadid, and we have been joined by Yusuf Raza, who is our in-house student of the Quran and a teacher for us. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Wa alaikum assalam.
We have a very interesting surah today.
Inshallah, we have the selection that I made was ayat 12 to 15 of Surah Hadid. And this basically I thought was a good parting message as a reminder, because we tend to start forgetting whatever we've learned and then start putting things off, putting the responsibilities off. So let's see what the Quran has to say about that. So I'll just start then, inshallah. Ayat begins, يَوْمَ تَرَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ, the day that the Prophet ﷺ, you will see believing men and believing women. So it's a sketch of the Day of Judgment. It's the Day of Judgment. The Prophet ﷺ is being addressed. You're going to see believing men and believing women. يَسْعَى نُورُهُمْ بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَبِأَيْمَانِهِمْ. Their light will be running in front of them. Their light will be running to the right of them. So to their right and to their in front of them is light. What is this light, and what is this light? Why is this light even necessary? Because we hear in other parts of the Quran, it talks about وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا, that there will be none of you except that he has to cross over it. Over what? Over Jahannam, over the hellfire. And it's going to be pitch black. Absolute dark. You put a foot wrong and that's it. That's it. So these people have this light in front of them, this light to the right of them, and this allows for them to walk. Who are these people? These are people of Iman. These are people who lived up to the responsibilities of what the Quran gave them. They were people who were selfless, sacrificed for the message, for the truth that they lived for, that they stood for, regardless of regardless of the consequences for them. Like for them, they were ready for any sacrifice for the cause that they were standing for. Bushrakumul yawm. Congratulations to you today. Congratulations to you today. Jannatun tajri min tahtihal anhar. Of gardens underneath which rivers flow. Khalidina fiha, to live therein forever. Dhalika huwal fawzul azim. And that is the ultimate achievement. That is the greatest success. Yawma yaqulul munafiquna wal munafiqat. That day when the hypocrites, men and women, will say لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, to the people who believed. So these people of Iman are running up with their light, and these people who thought that they were Muslims as well, thought that they were believers as well, thought that they were headed towards paradise as well, they're utterly shocked. Standing in darkness, all they can see is people with light moving on. There's like,
That's really scary.
So they're like, what's going on here? What just happened? So they call out to the people of Iman and say, Unduru, unduruna, wait for us. Wait for us. Unduruna, wait for us. Naqtabis min nurikum. Give us just a sliver of your light. Not asking for too much, just so we can see in front of, like an inch in front of our toe. We'll inch our way there. But just give us a sliver. قِيلَ ارْجِعُوا وَرَاءَكُمْ فَالْتَمِسُوا نُورًا. They will be told, go back, i.e. go back to the life of this world. Sarcasm. They are being told something which is impossible, to multiply the regret.
So God is sarcastic as well.
Yeah. So
Yay!
You will repeatedly see in the Quran, it says, give them the glad tidings of hellfire. Give them the good news of hellfire. You will see this repeated in the Quran. In any case, so they're told, قِيلَ ارْجِعُوا وَرَاءَكُمْ فَالْتَمِسُوا نُورًا. Go back to the world and look for your light there. This light is not for sale on the Day of Judgment. You had to earn it, you had to get it in this world, in the life of dunya, which you neglected or you were involved in other things about. فَالْتَمِسُوا نُورًا فَضُرِبَ بَيْنَهُمْ بِسُورٍ لَهُ بَابٍ. So a wall is struck between them, so they can't even see the people of the light or people with the light going towards paradise. All they see is a wall between them, and they're utterly shocked. بَاطِنُهُ فِيهِ الرَّحْمَةِ. Within the wall, inside of the wall, is mercy. Mercy. Outside of the wall, وَظَاهِرُهُ مِنْ قِبَلِهِ الْعَذَابِ, is the adhab, punishment of Allah.
Okay.
يُنَادُونَهُمْ. They will call out across the wall. أَلَمْ نَكُمْ مَعَكُمْ. Weren't we with you? Utterly shocked. Again, something that we referred to earlier as well. This is not conscious hypocrisy. This is unconscious hypocrisy. These people did not deliberately accept religion.
So then why are they being punished?
This is
unconscious. Mean to do it?
Again, that's coming up.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
So, يُنَادُونَهُمْ. They will call out, أَلَمْ نَكُمْ مَعَكُمْ. Weren't we with you? Weren't we with you? We thought we were born Muslim. We thought being born Muslim means going to paradise automatically.
Oh, right.
We don't realize what's going on. What just happened? We were part of the Ummah of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We thought that was an automatic entry to paradise. What just happened to us? We lived all our lives, the actions we thought we had to do, we thought we did them. We thought we did them. أَلَمْ نَكُمْ مَعَكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَى. The people, believers from the other side of the wall, they said, yeah, you were among us in dunya. We had the same Muslim names, maybe even prayed together, maybe even fasted together. All of those things we may have done. وَلَكِنَّكُمْ فَتَنْتُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ. But you put yourselves in trial. You put yourselves in tribulation. How does that matter? What does that mean? What does that imply? Fitna is something that comes in way of your responsibilities. Something of your own pleasure, something of your own desire.
What is the English translation?
Trial. So something of your own pleasure, something of your own desire, something of your immediate need that you put on priority, that you gave priority above the responsibilities of religion that were placed upon you. On Friday we were talking about just one dimension of it, even though there's other dimensions of fulfilling the responsibilities that Allah asked of us. One dimension that we were talking about was academics. And you asked me the question that why is it that there are people from the scientific as well as the religious who don't see the other side, who are refusing to open the other eye. Each has the other eye open and they're both looking at the world from that eye and fighting with each other. Why not? Because at the end of the day, there's vested interests. There is an academic status quo. There is a religious status quo. For you to come up with the things of truth that you have realized and the responsibilities that that truth puts on you, you're going against the status quo. So you stand to be scientifically disowned to the level that they'll call you unscientific, heretic, a mystic, this, that, and the third. Or religiously, you will be labeled an apostate for having left their sectarian rigidities or sectarian priorities that they've taken for themselves, or whatever the case may be, whatever the threat may be, that I am standing to lose something of immediate gratification of my worldly desires that I don't want to. So you know what, even if I realize this Quran is asking me for something, that I have to lead a meaningful life, I have to be responsible towards others in my society, do something for them, other religious responsibilities that I have to realize, rituals that I have to fulfill, I just, I'll do it later.
Okay.
For the next step, فَتَرَبَّصْتُمْ. You start becoming indecisive, or you start procrastinating. I'll do it later, after Ramadan, next Ramadan. Maybe when I've graduated.
This is very scary stuff.
When I've graduated, when I'm married, when I have children, when my children have graduated, when my children are married. It never ends. It never ends. Whatever I am used to, the social values that I'm used to holding up, I'll continue with that, because what the Quran is asking me for is too demanding, too revolutionary. Let me just call it on a hold. وَتَرَبَّصْتُمْ. So you procrastinated. And another place in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about this, that you gave priority to these things and you told Allah, His Messenger, and the struggle for the religion to wait. It's as if you're busy with your own life, with your own career, you're telling God and Messenger, wait outside in the waiting room, I'm busy right now. I'm busy right now.
God's very sarcastic, isn't He? He's got a sense of humor by the looks of it.
وَتَرَبَّصْتُمْ. And you procrastinated. وَارْتَبْتُمْ. And the third step, you started becoming doubtful. I don't even think there is any responsibility on me. I don't even think there's anything meaningful I have to do. It's just, made up. There's differences of opinion. Other scholars say other things, like these people keep fighting among themselves. Why do I have to be serious about religion? Why do I have to be serious about responsibility? All these Maulvis are fighting between themselves. وَارْتَبْتُمْ. You became doubtful. وَغَرَّتْكُمُ الْأَمَانِي. And your wishful beliefs deceived you. I am already forgiven. We are the children of God. We believe in such, and such. We belong to such a particular sect. And that means we are already going to paradise. Even if we go to the hellfire, it'll be for a few days. So all of these wishful understandings, they deceived you. They, the guilt that was generated, the guilt that was generated by inaction, by irresponsibility, you dispelled it by telling yourself these stories and singing these lullabies to yourself. وَغَرَّتْكُمُ الْأَمَانِي وَغَرَّتْكُمُ الْأَمَانِي حَتَّى جَاءَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ, until the decision of Allah came. The decision of Allah can be the death of the human being, it can be the day of judgment, or it can be the sealing of the heart, that the heart becomes so dark, so black, that it's just, you know what, no more chances, stop messing around with me, stop joking with my religion. There is a particular dignity that my messenger has.
Three
Steps. فَتَنْتُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ, put yourselves in trial. Gave priority to selfish needs. وَتَرَبَّصْتُمْ, started becoming indecisive, procrastinating. Putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. وَارْتَبْتُمْ, became doubtful about responsibility itself. Became doubtful of what religion asks you for.
Does the person know their heart's being closed?
Again, these are all, nobody afflicts themselves with a disease consciously.
Yeah.
It is, hypocrisy is, fundamental part of hypocrisy is self-deception. You look at someone of the caliber of Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam wakes up one day and says, Umar, I saw your paradise in my dream. I visited your paradise. I was about to go in, but then I realized your ghaira, that you might not like it, that I am invading into your personal property and your family is going to be there, so I left. Umar starts crying and he says, Ya Rasulullah, no ghaira from you. I don't have this from you. I wouldn't have minded if you'd gone. This is what the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling him. Yet, he feels vulnerable. There's a particular Sahabi that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this is the list of the names of hypocrites in Medina. These are the people who are hypocrites, that Allah has told me are hypocrites. Otherwise, these are the affairs of the heart. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu pleads to him, I ask you, in the name of God, is my name on the list? Is my name on the list? He feels the vulnerability. Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah, is of the second generation, a scholar of the second generation of Muslims, after the Sahaba, the Tabi'een. He says, whoever feels safe from hypocrisy is a hypocrite. And whoever feels vulnerable, feels afraid of it, that's a sign of Iman. That's a sign of true faith. Because if you're in that uncertainty, am I a hypocrite, am I a believer, that will motivate you to do more. That will motivate you to stay on track. Otherwise, complacency settles in. Laziness settles in. وَغَرَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورِ, and the chief con artist, the biggest deceiver ever, Shaitan himself, deceived you about God. What is his biggest deception? God is so merciful, dude. God is Ar-Rahman. He loves you more than 70 mothers. How can he send anyone to Jahannam? How can he punish anyone? He'll forgive everyone.
Okay.
Is that concept of Allah's mercy, is that not making a mockery of everything that he talks about in the Quran? About the descriptions of Jahannam, about the descriptions of paradise, about the descriptions of the day of judgment?
So to say that is wrong?
To say that and rely on that as a, that's my excuse. And not take
to rely on it, that's wrong.
Again, so God is merciful, but if He's merciful with the manifestation of His mercy, Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran, He taught the Quran. He told you what you have to do. He could have not done that. He told you what you have to do. He gave you the fair warnings. You got repeated opportunities, repeated chances. That's His mercy. That's His mercy. But to consider that we will not avail those opportunities, we will not benefit from the message of the Quran, we will not take care of the responsibility it places upon us, and we will continue in our ways, set ways, in our own arrogance, and considering ourselves to be the most guided people, nah, that's not how it's going to work. Because then, what is that mercy if someone who has that attitude is forgiven and is brought to the same level than someone who feels that vulnerability, he's struggling, he's sacrificing? There's no mercy for him then. There's no mercy for Rasulullah ﷺ for living the life that he lived, where to the very end he's sleeping on the floor with a mattress that leaves marks on his back, even though he's the uncrowned king of Arabia, but he's living at such a humble level for other people. That level of selflessness and sacrifice that he lived for. How does that earn the mercy of God if someone who's a loser, whose life is all about eat, sleep, repeat, and I'm going to paradise as well? Then God is not merciful to the Prophet. God is not merciful to the people who actually, and he repeatedly says that. أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ, are we going to make the true Muslims, those who submit themselves, are we going to equate them to the people, to the criminals? Is that the justice of Allah is being mocked by this conception of, by this exaggerated conception of His, outplacing its mercy out of context, absolutizing it? وَغَرَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورُ فَالْيَوْمَ لَا يُؤْخَذُ مِنْكُمْ فِدْيَةٌ وَلَا مِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. So today, no ransom will be accepted. You want to give the earth's weight in gold to free yourself from Jahannam? Not going to work. It's not going to be accepted from you, neither from the people who reject it, from the kuffar. Hypocrites, kuffar, stand together. In dunya, you may have considered yourselves to be better than them, superior to them, standing in another ranks, but no more.
Okay.
مَأْوَاكُمُ النَّارُ. Your refuge, talk about sarcasm, your refuge is the fire. هِيَ مَوْلَاكُمْ. She is your friend.
Oh no,
She
this
is
is so
your
horrible.
protector. وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ. And what a horrible destination.
So then he's being serious there.
Yeah,
Even if he says it must be really bad.
that's what it is.
Okay, so our conclusion?
Our conclusion is
Because I
that
do have a question, but I think that's for off the camera, because I think that's too controversial.
conclusion being, with our responsibilities that the Quran places upon us, repeatedly the Quran talks about the meaning and purpose in the universe. The Quran repeatedly tells us as individuals, we have a responsibility, we have a meaning. If we are neglectful of that, of even realizing what it asks of us, then that's criminal. Then that's criminal. No matter what we claim with our tongue, if that claim does not enter into our practice, then that's paper belief, and paper belief is not acceptable. Is not acceptable. We talked about a lot of things throughout this month. We just brushed, the surface. It was by no means a comprehensive overview of the Quran.
No, not
or the
at all.
Quran
It was just a
demands
taste of
it's just a taste of what it was. A few ayat, at times we could only do part of an ayah, we couldn't even do the entire ayah. But just to open the door, maybe, or point towards the door that there is something here that we really, really need to seriously consider. And if we don't, then that's to our own detriment.
Okay, and now, because possibly Ramadan today is the last day, going forward, we've spent the last month doing these shows, and it's been absolutely fantastic. But now, how do we continue this for the rest of the year? Not so that we're not hypocrites. And we,
so again, this should not just be a
and
Ramadan.
fire is not our friend. I'm pretty sure fire is not my friend.
So we need to make sure that we're not just Ramadan Muslims.
Okay.
Because God is not the God of Ramadan. He's the same God the rest of the 11 months of the year as well. And every day, 24/7, that's what this relationship is about. It's willingly submitting before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lovingly, for the loving master that He is, for the loving Rabb that He is, in every aspect of our lives. It's not just prayer and fasting, those are aspects to it, very important, but what they facilitate is in that 24/7 relationship of love and obedience, both.
Okay.
So we need to struggle to understand what that demands of us, and then live accordingly. We'll make mistakes, but as long as our overall attitude is that of humility and trying to do our best, those mistakes will be overlooked.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for all your time. Maybe see you tomorrow, let's see. But thank you, and it's been absolute pleasure having you on the show every day. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit daunting and it's a bit scary, and my heart is feeling really heavy right now. But that's the whole beauty of that was the whole point of this segment, is to open up your eyes, to see what information is out there, to see what our Quran, what our religious book says, and to try and be the best people we can be. There are plenty of examples, there are plenty of guidelines, there are plenty of, I've said examples already, but we have the history, we have the knowledge, and we have the ability, and we have the potential. So with that, we're going to go for a short break, and when you come back, we're going to be exploring another segment. Stay tuned.